A ratio comparing quantities with different units, and it is called a rate. Here we see 30 miles per 2 hours, 30 miles to 2 hours. We have different kinds of units. This is a rate. It's not asking for a ratio in simplest form. So we can write a rate that has different units of measure. A unit rate is when you want to have a 1 in the denominator. You want to know per 1. A denominator of 1. To change a rate to a unit rate, you're just going to divide the numerator by the denominator. Here we want to know per 1 hour. How far can I go in 1 hour? So I'm going to divide this by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1 hour. And then, of course, whatever we do to the denominator, we got to do the same thing to the numerator. 30 divided by 2 is going to be 15 miles. So I know that I can go 15 miles in 1 hour. We always want to know about per 1. When you go shopping and there's a deal, you want to figure out which one's going to be the better deal. So you usually try to find out per 1. How much would 1 t-shirt cost? How much would 1 CD cost? And then you can see if it's really a deal. Express each rate as a unit rate. Round to the nearest tenth or nearest cent if necessary. So if it's money, you want to make it look like money in your final answer. Here we have $58 per 5 tickets. Well, if I'm going to a concert with 5 friends, we want to know how much each one of us has to pay. If it's $58 for 5, we want to know how much is it going to be for 1. So we're going to divide the denominator by 5 so that we know per 1 ticket. And that means we're going to do the same thing to the numerator. How much money is it going to cost for 5 divided by 5 is 1. 1 ticket. $58 divided by 5. 58 divided by 5 is 11.6. Does that look like money? You would say 11.60. So that's going to be $11.60 per 1 ticket. If they have a deal at the store and they're saying that it's going to cost you $4.19 for 4 cans of soup. Sometimes it's not always a deal. And so you can check to see, am I really getting a deal, or should I just buy the cans 1 at a time, or should I buy 4 of them? So I want to know about per 1 can. So I'm going to divide the numerator also by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1 can. How much is it going to cost me for 1 can? $4.19 divided by 4 is $1 and how many cents? 0.4. I look behind the 4 and I make sure I'm doing my rounding. A 7 is behind the 4, so that's going to make it $1.05. I need to round the 4 up to a 5. Is it really a deal if I'm buying 1 can for $1.05? Or is the regular price 99 cents per 1 can? You'd be surprised. It's not always a deal. All right, we have 237 pages in 8 days. How many pages can I read in 1 day? Divide by 8 to get my 1 day. Divide by 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So in 1 day, how many pages can I read? $237 divided by 8. I can read 29.6. I look behind the 6. It says to round to the nearest tenth. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Here's my tenths place. I look behind the 6 and it's a 2. It does not make the 6 round up. It stays the same. So 29.6. I can read 29.6 pages, about 29 and a half pages per day. If you don't put your units on with your ratios and unit rates when they're not canceling, then you will have points taken off. It's important to make sure your units are there when they're supposed to be. All right, how about comparing unit rates? Rewriting rates as a unit rate makes it easier to compare and determine the best rate. Kind of what we talked about up here. Which is going to be the better deal? Buying it in bulk or buying it per one? Let's see how this works. Parties, the Party Palace charges $225 for 12 children. Party charges $195 for 10 children. Which party place has the lowest cost per child? Per child, per one. So if we take 225 for 12 children, we want to know per one child. And so you are dividing by not 2, but you're dividing by 12. That's a misprint. You're dividing by 12. 12 divided by 12 is one child. Let's check and make sure they did. 225 divided by 12 is $18.75. So when you go to Party Palace, it's going to cost you $18.75 for one kid. Is the next place going to be cheaper? We have $195 per 10 children. So we want about one child. 10 divided by 10 is 1. $195 divided by 10 means I'm moving that decimal once, and I get $19.50. Which place has the better deal? That would be $18.75 per one child. I know that it's not really that big of a deal. It's only 75 cents more, but you wanting to buy in bulk, you really do want to save money and go with the better deal. Party Palace has the better deal. Now let's try this ourselves. Lyric reads 98 pages in 4 hours. At this rate, how many pages would she read in 9 hours? So let's figure out how much she does in 1 hour. We have 98 pages per 4 hours. How much can she do in 1 hour? So we're going to divide by 4. And figure out per 1 hour, how much does she read? We have 98 divided by 4. She reads 24.5 pages, 24 and a half pages. Okay, so that's how much she can read in 1 hour. At this rate, how many pages can she read in 9 hours? I want to know how many can she read in 9 hours. If I know 1 hour, can I figure out how many for 9 hours? Now we're working in the opposite direction. We're going to bring it up. I can do 1 times 9 gives me 9 hours. So 24 and a half times 9. 24 and a half times 9 would be 220.5. 220 pages in 9 hours. So we took this and broke it down to a unit rate, and then when we knew per one, we can figure out any amount of hours, how many pages that Lyric could read.